The time now is 7:57. It is now time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, brought to you by First Southern Bank, Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings, Murphy Builder Supply, and O'Quinn & Associates Country Financial.
Season's greetings from First Southern Bank. We want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas from our staff, management, and shareholders. We still have those great loans and deposit products you may have heard us talking about. Thank you for a great year, and we look forward to many more. Give us a call at 588-1010. That's 588-1010. Or come by and see us. First Southern Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The holidays are here, and no better place to enjoy a meal with friends and family than Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings restaurant, a family favorite located in downtown Jesup. Yes, this holiday season, stop by or check out the drive-thru for wings, burgers, salads, lunch, or dinner. It doesn't matter. Damon's restaurant is here for you. Don't forget the variety of sauces, mild, wild, insane, or inferno. Your choice. Yes, the holidays are here, and do yourself a favor. Take some time to relax and have a great meal at Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings restaurant, located at 334 West Cherry Street in Jesup. Call or order 588-WING, 588-9464. Damon's Restaurant, a Wayne County favorite during the holidays and every day of the year.
Since 1946, Murphy's Builder Supply has been serving the folks of Jesup, Wayne, and surrounding counties with quality products and knowledgeable service. Matter of fact, they feel they sell service first to make sure you get exactly what you need for your home improvement projects. And with each employee at Murphy's being there for 10 years or more, you know you're talking with someone with the experience to help you with building supplies, tools, paint, and all the things you need from a full-service hardware store. The best choice in home improvement is Murphy's Builder Supply, 156 Northeast Broad Street, Jesup.
Most people understand the need for life insurance, but not many want to talk about why it's essential to your financial plan. It may seem intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. Don't get overwhelmed. Get started with Country Financial. Call me, Sean O'Quinn, today at 588-1051 and let me work with you to find life insurance that gives you the protection you need at a price you can afford.
Life insurance policies issued by Country Life Insurance Company and Country Investors Life Assurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
The following is an exclusive presentation of Jesup Broadcasting, the sports leader in Southeast Georgia.
World famous. The world famous Butch and Bob Show.
World-famous Butch and Bob Show right here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup. It is 8 o'clock, Monday morning, 20th day of December. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Doing good? All right, glad to hear it. And Pittsburgh's doing? The Steelers?
They're still on life support.
They did barely win yesterday, didn't they?
Defense came through with 4 turnovers, so they got a chance.
Big D came through, huh?
Yeah, they got to go to Kansas City this weekend, though. So.
Oh, well, Kansas City's in a roll right now, aren't they? Man, they have come back big time.
Maybe San will come through.
All right. Well, we can talk football a little bit later, but right now we've got candidate for Governor Candace Taylor in here this morning. And Bob, take it away with Candace.
Well, again, Candace is from Baxley, Georgia. Is that correct?
That's right, Baxley.
And you've been an educator for a long time.
19 years.
Yeah. So tell us why you decided to run for governor.
Well, because I was pretty ticked off about the election, November 3rd. And I've pulled tabulator tapes, and I've had teams working on the election fraud for 13 months. And it's pretty frustrating whenever I see the black and white data and nobody's doing anything about it. And I've watched our state be sold out to China and Hollywood and not the people. So I decided I was going to get involved because I'm not going to be bought off. I don't have a price tag. I'm paid for by the blood of Jesus. So good luck to them to try to buy me.
Tell us about your slogan here, Jesus, Guns, and Babies.
Well, God kind of gave me that. I was speaking in Calhoun, Georgia when I was running for U.S. Senate last year, and I was actually speaking before Marjorie Taylor Greene, Congresswoman Greene, and I only had 7 minutes. So I had to talk really fast, which I can talk really fast, but I was trying to get my message across, and I was like, I'm going to put Jesus, Guns, and Babies first every time, and the crowd loved it. And then Marjorie got it behind me, and she said, what Candace said, Jesus, Guns, and Babies. And the New York Times was there, and they quoted Marjorie, not me. Ticked me off. I was like, God gave that to me, not Marjorie. And, me and Marjorie just laughed about that. But it kind of stuck. I mean, it resonated with people. I think it's the cornerstone of the Republican Party and the conservative movement is that we're going to protect life, and we're going to protect our Second Amendment from a tyrannical government. And we're going to put Jesus first. That's why we have a country, is to worship him freely.
There's a big names running for governor. You got the incumbent Brian Kemp, David Perdue jumped in the race. I don't know where Vernon Jones is. He's kind of disappeared. I don't know where he's at.
He's self-imploding, but he's a big name.
But how do you get your name out there statewide?
And Stacey Abrams. So we have four
we know she's running for Democrat, but I'm talking about on the Republican ticket.
They're four establishment politicians. They're all the same. The establishment is the same. So you got a bird with two wings, Democrat and Republican. They still represent themselves. And so they pretend, and they pander, and they gaslight, and they play us. But in reality, they're not one of us. I'm one of the people. I have over 1,000 volunteers. I'm going to have thousands of foot soldiers that are going to door knock and do phone calls. You can't beat volunteers.
And how do these volunteers come about? Because I know they have to be statewide in order for you to be successful.
Yes.
How did this happen where, a lady from Baxley, Georgia is now running for governor, has volunteers throughout the state?
Yeah, I've been to all 159 counties last year, so I built a big base last year of volunteers. But I have put 67,000 miles on my car this year since January, and I've just been everywhere. So when I go to meetings or I have events, they sign up to volunteer. They go to my website. I've gotten over 1,000 on my website alone, just going and signing up. I have volunteers in other states that are going to do phone calls for me, and they share my stuff constantly. They have family in Georgia. It's really I've been all over the country. I've been to Arizona to look at the audit. I've been to Mike Lindell's symposium. I've been endorsed by Mike Lindell. We're working hard. I mean, I outwork them. I work full-time as a public school educator. I'm going to go part-time in the spring a little bit because I have to. We'll do some bus tours and that kind of thing. But, it's grassroots. It really is.
What do people like about your message?
I'm one of them. I'm not going to be bought off. And I won't compromise. And I tell the truth, and I'm abrasive with it. So I don't have anybody to please. I don't have to lie. I speak from my heart. I'm passionate. I talk about the issues, and I don't have anything to hide. They came in with rhetoric, and they came in with all these other things, these establishment politicians, and the people are sick of it. They're seeing our country being hijacked. We're going to lose our country. And so we can keep electing celebrities. We can do that. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. We can do that. Or we can choose different. And our government is a representative republic. It's meant to be ran by us, by the people. So you go serve and you come home. You don't make a career out of it. And we have a bunch of weak beta males running our state. And if they would do their job, I wouldn't be running. Honestly, I love my job. We need some alpha Jesus-loving males to take over Georgia and get rid of this good old boy system, which isn't a good old boy system, but that's what it is. It's doing backroom deals for each other. And if we can get away from that and get back to the people, we'll save Georgia. Georgia's very conservative. They've had electronic voting since 2002, and since 2002, we've had issues in our elections. In fact, I don't even know if anybody in office actually won. So we're in a mess. We've got to get our voting secure. One fair legal vote per registered voter. They cannot compromise on that. They got to quit telling lies about the machines. We got to stop it because we've seen the data, the raw data. Mike Lindell's put millions of dollars into this. Other people too, Patrick Byrne, General Flynn, all of them. Sidney Powell, Lynn Wood, they've all just their own wealth donated it in to seeing the truth in America. And our Georgia legislators are the number one people who are saying, no, there wasn't fraud in the machines. It was the absentee ballots. That was a little bit of the fraud. The majority of the fraud came from the machines, and we've seen the black and white data, but they won't do an audit. They won't decertify. They won't have conversation.
Now, if you do get elected governor, Candace, what would be some of the first things that you would like to do when you become governor if you get elected?
Constitutional carry is number one. It should have already happened. The governor promised it, and it hasn't happened yet. That'll be first. And then we're going to work on prison reform. Our prison systems in Georgia are falling apart. And I didn't realize how much until I said I was going to run for governor, and I've heard from correctional officers, families, inmates that have just gotten out, and we're in a mess in Georgia. One prison last weekend had 2 correctional officers show up, and they're short 100. You can't function like that. Inmates aren't getting bathed, they're not getting food, and the correctional officers are risking their life. Our death rates in prison they're expected to surpass record numbers this year. We have more people incarcerated, on parole, and probation in Georgia than any other state. People don't know that, but I promise you, if we have serial killers on the street, they'll know it, and they'll be concerned.
What about from an economic standpoint? Brian Kemp has been said as a governor that has really built business here in the state of Georgia. What would you do to improve upon that?
Yeah, well, we're the 8th strongest economy in the United States of America. That was there before Brian Kemp became governor. He has done a lot to support, and that's great, and I'll continue that effort. But small business has to be first. They've done a lot with agriculture, and that's wonderful. Agriculture is our business. We're a state of agriculture. I have issues with the solar panel push that's happened in Georgia. I have issues with that because they're throwing money at farmers, but they're making our land feral, and solar panels just don't produce a lot of electricity like nuclear power. Both of my parents ran nuclear power plant, were supervisors there until they retired, and we just have to use common sense approaches, and we've got to protect agriculture in Georgia, and solar farms aren't doing that. They're not protecting our ability to grow and reproduce in Georgia. So there's some issues there, but we do have to focus on small business, and we have to look at how to support them. Without them, we have no economy.
Okay, the abortion issue is really big right now. Been in front of the Supreme Court. Texas has laws been upheld, but the Supreme Court says other people can challenge it. Your opinion on that?
Yeah, we can't have abortion, period. That Roe versus Wade happened before they realized, babies begin at conception. They didn't think that they thought they were massive cells. We know a baby can function on its own, at 21 weeks with help from medical assistants, but they can breathe on their own at 21 weeks gestation. That's half of a pregnancy, and they didn't know all that when the Supreme Court approved Roe versus Wade. And we were back decades ago, and we've got to move up to present day. We have medical science and the technology to help life survive. I was in a forum in Atlanta 2 days ago with a bunch of Georgians that are black, and we discussed the mortality rate of mothers in the black community and the abortion rates. They're almost 70% of abortions are black abortions. They're killing their race. It's propaganda from the left, from the Democrats pushing this narrative, and it's not okay. It's never okay to kill life, and we've got to get that out of Georgia, and it's got to happen from conception on. The heartbeat bill was a nice initiative, but you have to take the heartbeat to prevent the abortion. So if you go in at 30 weeks and we know the baby will survive, and you don't have your heartbeat taken of the baby, you can still have an abortion. So there's a loophole there, and we've got to take it all the way back to conception.
Now, guns is in your slogan. Tell us about your position on guns.
Yeah, I want the Second Amendment upheld 100%. I want constitutional carry. I carry everywhere that I go that I'm not at school and not allowed to carry. And I'm a strong Second Amendment supporter. My father was a GBI agent. I've been around guns my whole life. You have to be very careful, and you have to have respect for guns. But, they're there to protect our life, but they're there to protect us from a tyrannical government. And a U.S. Senate candidate running, he made the comment, he's like, well, that was a little harsh, Candace, to say they're there to protect against a tyrannical government. And I said, well, if they come at my door to get my guns, they're going to know I'm going to give them my bullets first. They're not getting my guns. I'm not going to be Australia. So we have to uphold our Second Amendment. It protects our very survival in this country.
Candace Taylor in this morning, candidate for governor from Baxley, Georgia. And, of course, the first word in your slogan is Jesus. Tell us your opinion on religion, freedom of religion, and where you think that we need to go with this issue.
Yeah, so America exists so we can worship Jesus freely. And anybody that tells you the Constitution is not based on God either is ignorant and don't know, or they're just stupid, because it is. It's all throughout the Bible, all throughout the Constitution. It's inspired by the Word of God, by the Bible, the Constitution, and it is so important that we protect our ability to worship him and our ability to put him first. And we've taken him out of the schools, and we've taken him out of government. You can't do that. It's impossible to separate Jesus out. And people that aren't saved or that don't have the same belief that I do, that's okay, because they know if you study the theology and the works of Jesus, you understand that good is good. You don't lie, you don't steal, you don't kill, you don't, be jealous of your brother, covet your brother. So you realize that this person, I may not agree with her from her religious standpoint, but I know that she's going to be a good person. And so we have to just agree to disagree, and I would never shove my belief on anyone else, but I'm going to be very transparent about what I believe in and who I am, because we got to elect people who we know who they are, and they don't give us a facade, and they don't lie, and they're not scared to say, this is what I believe in, this is who I am, and we have to elect the people that represent us the best.
Some people think that PC, political correctness, has gone way too far. Your opinion on that?
Absolutely has. When I got my PhD in counseling, Dr. Ben Carson spoke, and he spoke about two things: political correctness and our national debt. And the two things, that was 10 years ago, and the two things we're dealing with right now is political correctness and the national debt. And we have transgender issues issues all in our schools, all across the country, and children's identity being messed with and being propagandized. It is a travesty, and we have to stop the madness, and we have to speak up and say, no, this is not okay. I'm not going to put up with it. I'm not going to put up with critical race theory in our school system. I'm not going to put up with social emotional learning that teaches communistic values to our children. We're going to be learning about patriotic values and our country and how we're free, and we're going to protect that and instill that love of our country in our children. It is absolutely insane to me that Georgia would have these curriculums embedded in them where they are teaching our children to be weak.
Yeah, a lot of folks say that schools ought to teach education, not social opinions. Do you feel that way?
Absolutely. But you're going to get the personality of the teacher to come through. And so if the teacher is very liberal and they're brainwashed by mainstream media, you're going to have them regulations and ethics that they have to adhere to so they don't cross the line. So if you have an ethics violation for teaching some of these things in this propaganda with critical race theory or social emotional learning or comprehensive sex education that takes their innocence at 5 years old with visual images that are just totally insane, if y'all look that up, you'll see. If we have people that know, if we have teachers that know, if you break these code of ethics standards, you're going to lose your funding. You're going to lose your certificate for 90 days. They have a mortgage. They have a car payment. They'll hush.
Why do you think that some teachers feel the need to give their opinion on social issues and not just stay to the subject they're teaching?
Because those children become yours. They're like your children. You're with them more hours of the day awake than their parents. And if you truly have a heart issue and you believe in something, you want them to be brought up and believe like you do. And it's a connection made with a teacher and a child. And so there has to be a clear line drawn in the sand of you can love them and you can nurture them and you can show them good versus evil, but you cannot manipulate and brainwash children. And so there's a fine line there, and I understand it because I'm a public school educator. I've been a school counselor most of my career. I get it. The budget of the governor is 60 to 70% education. We've talked about all the other issues, but education is the governor's business. We've never had a governor that's an educator. That's a problem. I know where to cut. I know where to clean house, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to put money back in Georgia's pocket.
All right, Candace Taylor in this morning from Baxter, Georgia. She's a candidate for the governor of the state of Georgia. Bob, follow-up questions from you.
Right, and like I said, you just get an uphill battle. I just wonder how you get your name out there on a statewide platform. I mean, we carry Georgia Network News. We're a Fox News affiliate. We don't ever hear your name.
Yeah, you're not going to hear it from them.
I know. So how do you get your name out there? I mean, it's a big state.
I'm winning polls. You know, I'm in straw polls all over the state that I haven't even attended their meetings, haven't attended their event, and I'm polling between 25 and 35%. I'm winning or getting second place against these establishment candidates. My own inner polling that's been done that is all not even in South Georgia. It's all the metro areas. I'm polling at 15%, which is very high considering I haven't even been to these places. So I'm getting my name out. Like I said, we're going to grow our grassroots campaign. We are growing it. It's growing rapidly every single day. And y'all are going to be shocked in Jesup, Georgia to have a governor from South Georgia. It's going to happen. The people, David Perdue did me a favor when he got in the race. He just split that establishment vote because the people don't want establishment. They're done with them. They're done. They want real, and they're going to get it with me.
How do you break into the Atlanta market? We all know the Atlanta area market because, 50% of the population of Georgia lives above I-20, okay? And so how do you break into that metro up there? It seems like you almost have to be from that area, have a big inroad into the Atlanta area market to be able to win. How do you do that?
They beg me to come. I mean, they would keep me up there all the time if they could. Seriously, I have to make myself come to South Georgia and stay here on my days off and the days I take off. My parents actually were like, you have to get to South Georgia. And that's terrible because I live here and I am going to South Georgia, but Atlanta begs me. I mean, I'm on the way to Blue Ridge today when I leave here. I could stay in North Georgia and Atlanta all the time. It's not even about breaking in. It was when I ran for Senate. They know who I am now. They're sick of establishment politicians, and they beg me to come. I have a huge support base up there.
Candace, what are some other platform issues that we haven't touched upon this morning that you would like for our listeners to know about Candace Taylor?
So immigration's one, and Georgia being sovereign, and us protecting our state before we try to bring in people we can't support. We have homeless in our state right now and veterans and they've been through PTSD, had all kind of issues, and they don't have a home. We have a huge mental health crisis with drug addiction, opiate, and meth that's in Georgia. We released 9,000 residents, inpatient residents 10 years ago in our state when we closed mental health facilities, and 90% of them are either homeless or incarcerated because they were self-medicating and didn't have their medication. So we have a mental health crisis. We have a prison crisis. crisis. We have a homeless crisis. We cannot have illegal immigrants flooding our state. And our governor has said that he was going to take Afghans, and he's not pushed back on taking illegals. And we're seeing rapes of young children by illegal people coming into our state. Huge issue. We've got to get it under control immediately. I want to see our state guard step up. Our state guard in Georgia is not like the one DeSantis is looking at in Florida. He's looking at one totally removed from the federal government. We do have one in Georgia. They haven't really been active, and they're affiliated with the federal government. I want to see us have a state guard that's not affiliated with the federal government. Georgia's sovereign like every other state, and we have got to push back. We can't have a governor that meets with the consulate of China 4 times before we sign a Dominion deal. We have to put Georgia first and protect our state.
You know, you are a conservative Republican, but your concerns about some of the issues you were talking about with people is sometimes a little bit different than you hear from other conservative Republicans, that you have a heart for people, but you're still a conservative. Do you see it that way?
Yes, sir. And it's because I am a fixer. I'm a counselor. I went into counseling because I like to fix and help problems. But we have to have humanity too. And I think, we've gotten so divided on issues that we have to come back in the middle on humanity issues. Now, I'm far right on the Constitution,
right,
and I'm a constitutionalist, but we have to have humanity too, and most people feel that way. And we've got to keep, like I said, we've got to protect Georgia. We've got to put Georgia first. We've not been put first. We feed the world. Georgia feeds the world. We've got to feed Georgia first.
Now, the state of Georgia, as you can tell from the last elections, have been, pretty much 50-50, just a little bit, just a few percentage points this way, a few percentage points that way. So if you do get elected governor, how do you bring people together? Because you don't want to represent just a little over half of Georgians. How do you bring it all together?
Yeah, well, we'll represent everybody. And so we're going to hear from the people, and we're going to take their concerns and put them into action. Like I said, I was 2 days ago in Metro Atlanta, and half the room was liberal. And they came around, and we had a whole conservative panel except for one person. And they were educated on the propaganda being pushed down their throat by the left. And by the time they left the room, they were totally like, you know what? I want to vote Republican too. They've always identified as a Democrat. That's pushed that narrative into their head. But they felt like, these issues that y'all are discussing are how I feel too. So they feel the conservative values inside of them. They just are brainwashed, and their identity has become with the Democrat Party in the name. But that's not how they feel with their values. And so we've got to reach people, and we're going to do it with door knocking and canvassing. And we're going to do it face to face and conversation.
A lot of volunteers.
A lot of volunteers, thousands and thousands of foot soldiers that you can't buy off, that are passionate just like me.
Okay. Bob, anything else for Candace this morning?
Just good luck.
Anything else, Candace?
Pray for favor. Go to CandaceTaylor.com, KANDISS.com. Sign up to be a volunteer, and I look forward to talking to y'all later.
Okay,
Thanks,
hold
guys.
on one second here. I want to do something here now. Candace, where do you head to after you leave the radio station here?
Well, I'm going to go home and pick up my 13-year-old, and she's going to drive with me to Blue Ridge today.
That's a long way up there.
That's right. And then I'll come back tonight, and tomorrow I have a couple personal appointments, and then Wednesday I'm going to Cumming. So I'm in Atlanta and North Georgia a lot.
All right, you just had we have people who can text in questions and comments and stuff like that to our regular business line, 912-427-3711. Folks can text in. Someone just text in, hey, Candace Taylor, all the way. Thanks for an awesome interview.
Thank you. Yeah, Wayne County, I have a lot of support over here, and they've been begging me to come be on the show with y'all. And I'm like, I went with them last year. I'd love to go back. And they're like, you have to go to Wayne County. I'm like, okay, we're going to pull Wayne County.
Well, Candace, we appreciate you coming in this morning. Good luck, safe travels, and we look forward to having you back in the studio sometime in the spring.
That's right. And when I come back and I have 20,000 foot soldiers, y'all going to be like, oh my gosh, and I've raised over $1 million. Get ready.
Get ready. All right, Candace, thanks for coming in. Take care.
Y'all.
All right, we'll be back with more of the world-famous Butch and Bob Show in just a moment here on 105.5 FM, Jesup, Big Dog Country, WIFO.
South Georgia weather.
Here's your WIFO forecast. Partly sunny, northeast breeze at 10 to 15, highs low 50s. Cloudy, chance of showers after midnight tonight, low 40. Showers are likely early tomorrow, showers again in the afternoon, highs upper 40s. Showers likely Tuesday evening. Wednesday, sunny, breezy, high of 60. Thursday, sunshine, highs low 60s.
Georgia Chief Meteorologist John Weatherby in the Georgia 811 Weather Center. Contact 811 before you dig.
Can you find it?
The Neesmith Chevrolet Big Dog Country WIFO Cash Can. Imagine, if you will, a specially marked can hidden in Wayne County, Georgia, worth $1,055. Your mission, should you decide to accept it, find the cash can. Clues to the can's location will be read Monday through Friday live on WIFO at 7:10 a.m., 12:50 p.m., 3:03 p.m., and 5:50 p.m.
Shortly after 5 p.m. on Friday, the clues will be posted online at BigDogCountry.com.
No purchase necessary. You must be 18 to claim the prize. Complete rules online at BigDogCountry.com. The Neesmith Chevrolet WIFO FM Big Dog Country Cash Can.
This promo will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
822, 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio. We just had Candace Taylor in here from Baxley, Georgia. She's a candidate for governor. She ran for Senate last year, and now she's decided to run for governor. And we wish her safe travels and the best as she travels around the state to get her message out. 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO. Any takeaways from the NFL games yesterday, Bob?
What happened to Arizona?
Yeah, where did they go?
I don't know.
Started off fast out of the gates, and they're fading in the stretch.
The other takeaway is the Saints definitely have Brady's number. I mean, shut him out 9-zip. He was frustrated last night and yelling
how did that?
people.
Saints always seem to give the Bucs a hard time.
They always have their number. So
I know.
But, it's the same old NFL. You can't tell who's going to win from one week to week. It's just very topsy-turvy. It's going to be interesting who. They made a good point yesterday. The Super Bowl one was Green Bay and Kansas City in Los Angeles, and the Super Bowl's in Los Angeles. So
it could be the same
thing.
Could
be in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers looks awfully good, and Patrick Mahomes is, so Los Angeles, there's just a lot of teams get a shot. Cowboys are playing well, so we'll see how it all plays out once the playoffs get underway. But I said they got that extra team in the playoffs this year. 7 teams get in, so I said there's a lot of teams on the outside looking in. The Falcons took a blow to their playoff chances yesterday.
They were doing good, and they got blown out by San Fran yesterday.
3 games left. Just interesting. NFL was adamant they weren't going to change the schedule due to the COVID protocols, but they've changed.
TV money talks, Bob. TV money talks.
Just a lot of players affected.
Yes, sir.
So.
Yep, TV money talks.
Browns,
so there'll be games tonight, tomorrow night,
right.
And there's games on Christmas Day.
Right. I'm interested to see if the Browns can field a team. Like I said, they're the ones that really been hit. So we'll see who else playing tonight for Cleveland. Mm-hmm. So, but like I said, Pittsburgh found a way to win yesterday, down 13-3 at halftime. It just looked like it was no way they're going to win that ball game. But the defense came up with 4 turnovers. So,
who do you want to get as quarterback for Pittsburgh next year?
Aaron Rodgers. They say he's leaving Green Bay.
So you'd like to have him there in Pittsburgh, huh?
I'd love to have Aaron Rodgers. He won it.
Yeah. And I'm sure that if Green Bay lets him go, they'd rather for him go over the AFC side.
I'm sure Russell Wilson's going to be available too. I wouldn't mind him. So
either one,
they definitely got to get a veteran quarterback. Doesn't look like there's many quarterbacks in the upcoming draft. So
yeah. Hey, Jake Fromm got to play a little bit yesterday.
Yeah,
Fromm got to play, moving right down the field.
Yeah, playing for the Giants. So
yeah.
It's good to see him back in the NFL.
I didn't know he was there. They brought him in, and here's that Georgia quarterback, won the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl, and playing there for the Giants. Yeah, the announcers were impressed with the way that Jake handled himself out there on the field.
He's a good spot. I mean, the Giants don't really have a starting. I don't know. Wish him well.
Yeah, we wish him the best.
Jake Fromm's a good guy.
Drafted by Buffalo and then traded to to New York Giants. So we wish Jake the best up there in the New York City this next year. Hopefully he'll stay there. You never can tell with the NFL. He could walk in one day and say, "Hey, you're gone." Oh boy! But the NFL season winding down, but there'll be games most every day this week, and then a couple on Christmas Day. So if you're through, visiting with family or just want to sit around and watch football, and just sit around and watch football. If you want to do that, like Thanksgiving, there's going to be a bowl game that day and some pro games.
Yeah, a lot of college bowl games this week. So one today, Myrtle Beach Bowl.
The Myrtle Beach Bowl. Yeah. They played in Myrtle Beach, I guess. Where's the stadium around there to play? Is it Coastal Carolina? Coastal Carolina is the one that's got the stadium there next to Myrtle Beach. It's the only stadium I know of around there. Coastal won, but Appalachian State got whipped up on by Western Kentucky, which everybody was kind of, if you're going to lose, you wanted Western Kentucky to win because their part of the state got ripped up by those tornadoes last week. So that was just some good, feel-good emotions for them, for their university in Western Kentucky to win.
People still talk about the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl.
The Jimmy Kimmel Bowl? What's the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl?
It's a bowl game named after Jimmy Kimmel, late night host.
I know, but
and you had a mascot, Jimmy Camel.
Jimmy Camel.
That was.
And when was this? It's a skit on this show, or an ongoing skit, or something?
Yeah, this was a real event.
This was a real event.
Yeah. Took place out in Los Angeles.
So sponsored by the Jimmy Kimmel Show.
I guess.
Named after him or something?
It's the bowl game named after Jimmy. They said he's the only live person ever to have a bowl game named after him. So
I don't think he's that important.
He was there, and had all kinds of events. I had all the players on his show, so it's a big event.
Wow.
It's an interesting game, but the mascot was the highlight.
Bob, somebody wants to know your opinion. It's amazing how people want to know your opinion, Bob. Yeah.
They know I'll give it.
That's right. They know you'll give it. You're not shy about holding back your opinion, are you, Bob?
They don't have to agree with it. But
yeah. And if somebody wants to know, Bob, is Tampa going back to the Super Bowl?
I wouldn't bet against Tom Brady.
Who bets against him? Yeah,
I wouldn't. Yeah. They get all their pieces back. Like I said, they've got a lot of injuries right now. That was the big thing last night. I mean, Leonard Fournette was banged up. Godwin was hurt. So, as long as you give him his weapons and the defense. The thing about Tampa this year, the defense that played so well last year is not playing.
Not as strong this year.
It's not the defense of last year. So that could be the difference. So, but I'm sure they're going to be in the mix. But
yeah, they'll be in the mix.
But
can they, if they play the Saints in the playoffs, will they beat them? Or they can beat Green Bay?
Yeah, it depends where they play. If Green Bay gets that number one seed, it'll be tough to go to Lambeau Field and beat Green Bay up there. So.
But Tom's used to the cold weather. I don't know about the rest of the players,
that's
but
true
he is.
Too. But I said they're definitely in the mix. I said I want to count them out.
Okay. All right. Well, I was watching a little bit of ESPN this weekend, and Georgia quarterback controversy. Who's gonna start for Georgia was the big headline across the screen there, and then they had a story on it.
Yeah, the national media can't stand it, but I can tell you who's going to start. Stetson Bennett's going to start.
Yeah, the mailman will deliver.
The mailman will be there.
Okay. All right, Bob. Anything else in your mind this morning?
Lock it, load it, take it to the bank.
Lock it, load it, take it to the bank, huh, Bob?
Stetson starting.
All right. Well, Bob, you have a good day.
Okay.
All right, the world famous Butch and Bob Show, right here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, brought to you by First Southern Bank, by Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings, Murphy Builder Supply, and Quinn & Associates Country Financial. Bob, come back here. I don't want to stop the show right now. I do want to talk about one other thing here, and I think it's important for today, because today is a day that we'll have different professional football players in town to show their respects to Lynn Haas and the family. And tell us a little about what's going on with the ceremonies today for Wayne County great Lynn Haas.
On a celebration of life, and it's definitely a celebration of Lynn Haas, who passed away last Wednesday at the age of 79. Again, the funeral today at 3 o'clock at Jesup First Baptist Church. Dr. Felix Haynes will do the officiating. Again, the visitation is an hour before the service at 2 o'clock. Again, a lieu of flowers and memorials can be made to the Lynn Haas Scholarship Fund, First Southern Bank, P.O. Box 250, Jesup, GA. Runner Son's funeral home in charge of all the arrangements. Again, both Billy Kilmer and Sonny Jurgensen will be on hand for the funeral. Again, both his quarterbacks. So that 72 team that went to the Super Bowl and been good friends for many, many years. One of my favorite memories is going, Sonny Jurgensen and Sam Huff did the radio for Washington, and I had those press passes to Jacksonville, and I took Lynn down there, and he got to see Sonny and Sam.
Wow.
I told him, I said, "You going to tell me you're coming?" He said, "No, I want it to be a surprise." And it was definitely a surprise, because when they saw him, it was like
his eyes lit up, face smiled.
They came running down the hallway, big hugs and all that. And I tell the funny story. Of course, Joe Thiesman was another quarterback on there.
Lynn called him Thiesman.
Yeah, well, Sonny and Lynn, and he wasn't one of their favorite players. So what was funny that day is Joe Thiesman was there broadcasting for ESPN radio, and he came out of the press box and he saw Lynn, and it was like old home week. He came over and started asking Lynn about, Janice and the family and about banking business and all that. And Sonny's standing there, and he's just fuming, like, that Lynn's even talking to him. And this is I'm not making this up. So Theismann, after about 10 minutes, he finally walks back into the press box, and shuts the door. And Lynn looks at Sonny, and Sonny grabs and says, "What are you doing? We don't talk to him." And
he had to be nice. And
on the way home, I told Lynn, I said, "I thought y'all were just joking about y'all didn't like him." He said, "No, they do not like Mr. Theismann. They wouldn't call him Theismann. They called him Theismann."
Well, he was Theismann, but he changed his name to Theismann in college.
But he was the young quarterback coming in, trying to take Sonny and Billy. So there was a lot of animosity there, but he wasn't one of their favorite players. But it's good to see Sonny and Billy make the trip to be here for the funeral. So I said, it'll be a celebration. I said, just a great guy. Lynn's definitely going to be missed, but I said he was a mentor to me. I said, psychologist, whatever. I used to go to the bank and sit there and talk to Lynn for hours. And I said he didn't like to talk football with a lot of people, but he always indulged me because he knew how much I loved it. So, but it should be a great event today. Like I said, I should mention celebration of life. And I'm sure all his, I think the Pawn House group is the
Pawn House group.
I think they're the honorary pallbearers. So I'm sure they miss him, but I think they had a tribute to him this past Wednesday. Somebody had a tape where he did a prayer one time, and they played that, is what I understand. So,
good.
But I still remember that, back in the days when I first came to Wayne County, the highlight was a touchdown club. Not only was the meal fantastic, but it was just
big back in the 70s.
It was just entertaining. Close to 200 people in the club, and there's the VFW, a great meal. But Jim Bowie was the entertainment there. He was always the sheriff.
He was something else.
And he would always refer to Lynn as the star. He'd go, "Well, I see the star is bright back there. I can see it shining."
Just shining.
Yeah, I used to love how Bowie would refer to him as the star. But that's today at 3:00. Looking forward to it.
Okay, Bob.
So I'm sure it'll be a packed house.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Take care.